Some people actually have sex while remaining totally, utterly asleep. Joining us to share their real-life experience in our Google Hangout, George Warwick, who's suffered from sleep disorders his entire life, including sexsomnia. Chelsea Pettit, who endured George's sexsomnia for 7 years as his bed partner. How did you determine that George had sexsomnia?
It was kind of a process, to be honest. It was not something that it was just pop up one night and be like, oh, I know what you've got. It started out with petting and with him kind of humping, and it slowly started to become more involved.
For a long time, you didn't realize he was actually asleep when he was making advances to you in the middle of the night.
I thought he was completely awake.
How did you realize that he was actually in his sleep trying to have sex with you?
It wasn't for a couple of years, actually. For a long time, I never spoke to him about it. I just kind of kept it to myself and thought he was toying with me. And it was this weird joke that he was trying to play. And eventually, when it became full sex, he would stop right in the middle of it and then dismount and then fall asleep. And eventually, I started confronting him in the morning and asking, why did you do that? Do you remember what you did last night? And he would always be like, no, what did I do? And then I'd have to tell him, well, we had sex, but you never finished.
We want to hear from you, George. The reason we went to Chelsea first is because you can't necessarily give a first-hand experience with it because you were asleep when you were suffering from sleepsomnia.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was very confused for a while, actually. She would talk about things that I did in my sleep, and I had zero recollection of it. It was very strange and jarring. It's not just sexsomnia. It's a whole range of sleep behaviors that sexsomnia is also a part of. I've done and said some pretty strange things in my sleep, most of it very innocuous. It didn't really bug other people until Chelsea.
The breaking point for us was really when he started becoming violent in his sleep. George does display violent tendencies when he does sleep, so at night it started out more or less like fidgeting, and then it started getting more active to the point where he was elbowing and kicking and punching, and there are mornings when I woke up with a black eye or bruises, and the absolute breaking point for me was when he violently assaulted his pillow and tried to assault my face. And then after he fell asleep that night, we had sex in his sleep, but he decided that he was going to choke me, and that I had to push him off of the bed just to wake him up.